recent controversy over Sinclair Media Group tasking local TV news anchors to personalize a corporate message about so-called fake news has prompted concern among the public and within the media industry. The National Press Photographers Association announced that the required on-air message was editorial and violated journalism code of ethics. Justin Simmons is a TV news producer, or was at a Sinclair-owned station. He resigned amid the chaos of what he calls the company's obvious bias, and he joins us from Nebraska. Justin, welcome. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
A number of your cohorts at various Sinclair stations have voiced concern about this must-run news content. Explain to our viewers what that means and why it is a concern.
Right, so they have required segments that we have to run in our shows. You know, that includes the terrorism alert desk behind the headlines with Mike Hyman, which is currently on hiatus, and then also Bottom Line with Boris, which is with the Boris Epshteyn, their chief political analyst, who was a former campaign aide for Donald Trump. And so we are required to air these segments. They're normally slanted. In the case of the terrorism alert desk, it's fear-mongering, talking about apparent terror going on around the world, and it sometimes uses sources that I couldn't verify.
So this stuff goes in the local newscast, supplanting local content which would otherwise air?
Right, so we have to put it in our show. Normally, the anchors have a script they have to read that'll go into it. Sometimes we just put them into the break, so the anchors say, "We'll be right back," and then it'll fade to black, and then it'll go to the required segment. That was our way of studying ourselves apart from it. And then I would also add, I would take it a step further and also add disclaimers that said Sinclair Broadcast Group, Terrorism Alert Desk, or sometimes required segment, something like that, just to, you know, be transparent about it. I don't know if many other stations do stuff like that, but I found it important to be transparent.
Well, to your eye, in your news judgment, this terrorism alert, was it alarmist or news you can use?
I feel like it was content that was not relevant to viewers in most segments, and I would also add not relevant to viewers and also takes away from local content. You know, there are days where we have to drop local content, local news that people want to see for these corporate segments.
Well, by now, anyone with a television or a computer or a smartphone has seen that viral video mashup mosaic of the anchors at local Sinclair stations, dozens of them across the USA, all reading that script from corporate in unison. You saw that script before it went on air at your station, and I'm told you asked the boss at your station if you could opt out. What happened next?
Yeah, I tried to see what we could do to get out of it. He said that there wasn't much we could do. He said it would be a losing battle to not rock the boats, and that I shouldn't bite the hand that feeds me, is what he told me.
So it went on the air, and it went on the air and aired the prescribed number of times at that station?
Right. So we had to first air it on the 23rd, and then it aired for an entire week. And then after that, they started putting this promo into the commercial break. So why we even had to run it in the newscast is beyond me. I don't understand that.
Now, since all this controversy, have Sinclair stations backed off on the number of times these promos run?
I don't know about that. As far as I know, I think they are done running the promos, but I could be wrong on that.
Has Sinclair Corporate outlined a mission statement or in any other way set the course for what you have characterized as obvious bias?
Well, they hired a former campaign aide for Donald Trump as their chief political analyst. They donated to President Donald Trump's campaign.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. That's
yeah. Hey, you've chosen to speak out very publicly, and a number of your cohorts in various markets have expressed concern anonymously about all of this. What is the mood of the shop at the Sinclair station where you worked as all this was coming down?
Well, you know, all of my former colleagues were uncomfortable with it. You know, they wanted to fight as much as I did. The only difference is, you know, they're lifelong journalists who really don't have many options as far as what they could do if they left. They're also on contract, and you know, Sinclair is known for having high penalties if you break your contract, and so they wanted to fight it, but I was the only one with as much freedom to do what I did because I didn't have that contract.
Justin, thank you for joining us tonight on The Big Picture.